Hey, Travels with Dottie here, and I thought you might be interested in this full-time RVer travel adventure of getting packages. Okay, so here's the situation. I had a problem with my Starlink, and Starlink, as a resolution, was going to send me a whole new kit. Well, is sending me a whole new kit. And Starlink only sends by FedEx, and I am in Guadalupe, New Mexico, and very, very far from any authorized FedEx locations. Typically, state campgrounds, including this one's, don't take packages for you. I'm in the parking lot of the local post office, which they're wonderful. For they accept UPS and FedEx, which is rare for a post office. It's at the discretion of the Postmaster. Wonderful woman here runs this one. And for UPS, they actually have a key to the place, and after hours, they come in, they drop off packages, no problem. FedEx does not. FedEx, she said, certainly will deliver during their operating hours, and it's a little post office, so it's 9 to 1, and then Monday through Friday, and 9 to 11:30 on Saturday. So it's a very narrow window. And it turns out the packages, the trucks come from Santa Fe, which is at least an hour and a half if you're just driving straight here and you're not making stops. So this was due to be delivered yesterday. Today's Tuesday. And what I thought was they would probably come after hours and then drop it in the lobby, but they didn't. They did a delivery exception. They didn't drop it in the lobby. And I thought at first it was maybe a signature is required, but then I discovered no signature required. And so I wondered why they wouldn't have dropped it there. And when I talked to the postmaster, she said, well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, kind of thing. And this time they didn't. So she did give me a phone number, a local phone number. She said they may be able to contact the driver. So I called that phone number, and I had to call it 4 or 5 times to get someone to answer. Otherwise, it was going to full voicemail. And I said that I needed to get a message to the driver and to let him know I will wait in the parking lot for him, which is what I'm doing now. And they got back to me about half an hour later. And keep in mind, for some reason, the constant LTE great signal here for AT&T was down to 3G for some reason. So I was really having a hard time getting anything internet related or making phone calls. So I missed a return phone call from them, called them back, and they said, well, we have a little problem. We deal with Federal Express, and I think yours is ground, and we don't control ground. We don't have any relationship with ground. So there's 2 FedEx services. Those of you out there probably know that. I didn't know that. So she gave me like an 800 number for the ground service. And of course, I may have this backwards, the ground and the express. I'm not sure. But the 800 number is useless for this situation because they'll tell you right up front, there's no way to contact a driver. So I looked at the times yesterday. I looked at the on the vehicle time and the time that they marked this as undeliverable, and they tried 3 times, and they said the automatic thing said they'll try again today. So I looked at the difference between the departure time yesterday and today, and they left like 40 minutes later today. So if all things are equal, they should arrive at about, I think I decided about 3:10 or 3:15. Right now it's 3 or 4. So a couple of things that unfortunately, the tracking says out for delivery, will deliver by 8 p.m. And trust me, I'm not going to sit here until 8 p.m. the variables that could be working against me here are that they didn't actually come here when they marked it as undeliverable, because the driver might have known, hey, I know they close the doors, they close the office at 1, so it's after 1, so I'm going to mark this thing undeliverable. And he may do the same thing today, so I may never see the truck. I do have LTE signal now. Something happened to the tower, or the LTE came back on. So when I'm sitting here, I'll be able to see that it's marked undeliverable, and I'll know just to go back to the campground. And I managed to find a way to put delivery instructions in, which won't, it says 24 hours to take effect, so I don't even know if that'll work tomorrow, but I just said leave it in the lobby, and I'll pick it up. And if they see that, maybe they'll actually do that. If they don't, it'll be returned to Starlink, and it'll be quite some time, I'm sure, before I can get them to do a new shipment to a different address. That sounds like all horrible news. It would be horrible news if I didn't have Starlink service. The part that broke is the motor that aims the dish, but I can aim the dish with the broken thing manually, and I get fine service. I'm okay. So if I don't get this thing this round, it's not a huge deal. I'll get it later, but it's kind of an adventure figuring this out. And if things were different, it could have been a big deal, because you can't get any data on cell at Coyote Creek State Park. There is a very weak AT&T 3G signal, and I believe a very, very even weaker Verizon signal, and no T-Mobile signal. So there's no way that maybe if you have those paddle directional antennas and you have 2 of them and you aim them just right at the tower, I don't know if that would work or not. I do have an antenna on a pole that's not omnidirectional, but it's not as accurate as the paddles. It's the next best thing to that, and it doesn't do diddly, not diddly. So I have friends that are camping there. I'm not going to say they're miserable. They're just not really happy to be disconnected, and they do come over to my place and get on the Starlink, and I'm happy to have them do that. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm probably going to turn this off in a minute, and I'll turn it back on either when the truck pulls in and I get my package, or I get the notice that there's been a delivery exception and I know they weren't going to come by. I'm not sure how long I'm going to sit here, but you're going to find out after this. If you have any questions about this, put them in the comments. Sometimes getting packages on the road can be a real challenge if you are interested in being in remote areas. And hang on, you want to see what I'm looking at? Hang on. I have to turn it off and then turn it on again and switch the camera. So this is my view sitting in out the front windshield, looking out where the post office is in Guadalupe. Let's see if I can just move this around a little bit. Kind of show you in that direction, this direction. It's pretty. It is. It's really nice. So I will let you know what happens soon. So check this out. I discovered at the last minute, when you have a FedEx account, you can track them. So I was able to track him on this app. I'll put it up there, right there. And I was able to see his movements, and I was able to stand out in the street when it was time. And that was really cool. So all's well that ends well. I got the Starlink. And I have another, George's Medicine is coming by FedEx next week up in Eagle Nest. And I told him, hey, it's coming by FedEx and it's coming to Weathers, I think, on the 11th. He said, I'll call you, man. That's great. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Take care. I thought you'd like to see the box. There it is. There's my new buddy leaving.